Nope.
I'm a loner. I don't have many friends. It's not because I don't want any. I just can't make any. I'm not bullied or anything. No one cares enough about me to bother harassing me. High school is rough enough as it is. Having to go through it alone makes it that much worse. It'd almost be welcome if they did bully me, because then at least I'd know someone noticed me. That's why it was so weird when I started getting mysterious gifts on my doorstep. It started in April, near the end of the semester. It was a beautiful spring day that I was celebrating by staying inside and playing video games. In the middle of a raid, the doorbell rang. At first, I ignored it. My parents weren't home, and I was sure it wasn't for me, so I saw no point in answering it. But then it rang again, and again. Then 4 taps in rapid succession. Annoyed, I got up to get it, sighing dramatically. My irritation rose when I peeked through the hole in the door, and I saw that no one was there. Still, I opened it. I was immediately confused. There was a tube of toothpaste on the doorstep, with a note underneath. Picking up both, I read the message.
Keep that smile beautiful, Jesse.
What the hell? I mumbled to myself. Why was someone leaving me a tube of toothpaste at my door? I took a few tentative steps into the yard, looking around to see if someone was hiding nearby, waiting for my reaction. But there was no one. The street was quiet. I wanted to think that it was by mistake, but the note had my name on it. Then I thought maybe my dentist sent it to me to remind me to brush my teeth, but that made as little sense as anything else. Shrugging it off, I went back inside and tried not to think about it. And I didn't. Until the next day, when the doorbell rang again. This time, I got a little nervous. My parents were out again, this time at church, and it was early Sunday. There was no reason for anyone to be at the door. I wanted to ignore it, but it kept ringing and ringing, only stopping when I went to go see who was there. My anxiety rose when I looked through the peephole, and just like the day before, no one was there. Telling myself to stop being such a baby, I opened the door. This time, there was a pack of dental floss on the doorstep. The note attached to it read,
You have pretty teeth, Jesse.
This was too damn weird. I marched over to my neighbor's house and knocked on their door. She answered it, smiling tiredly. Hey, Jesse, what's up? I cleared my throat. Hi, Mrs. K. Did you see anyone at our house a few minutes ago? She frowned. No, honey. Why? Someone left this at my door, I said, presenting the floss in my open palm. Laughing, she said, Oh, the neighborhood kids are always doing silly things like that. I wouldn't worry about it. Thanking her, I scurried back home. She was probably right, but I still wondered, why me? No one ever notices me. Hell, most of them forget I even lived here. It didn't make any sense. I mentioned it to my parents when they got home. To my surprise, They seemed almost relieved. Someone was finally including me. My mom said she was sure whoever did it would tell me about it the next day at school. I hoped she was right. When I arrived at school that Monday, I watched everyone anxiously, waiting for the prankster to reveal themselves. All day I was sneaking around, looking for that one person to be smiling mischievously at me. But no one did. The day was just as uneventful as any other. When I got home from school, my mom was eagerly smiling at me. "Sweetie, you got a present today," she exclaimed, handing over a shoebox that was taped closed. I nervously opened it. This time, it was packed full of toothpaste, with a note stuck to the top, reading,
"Why weren't you smiling today, Jesse?"
I yelped a little bit, dropping the box back on the counter. I ran outside, this time determined to search every inch of the street until I saw the weirdo who was doing this. I froze in my tracks once I reached the driveway. In huge letters, someone had written,
"Smile, Jesse,"
in chalk. I turned around and flew back inside. Ignoring my mother's concerned questions, I headed straight for my bedroom. The chalk hadn't been there when I first got home. Someone had been watching me, waiting until I got there to write it. I slept fitfully that night. The next day was a blur. I once again spent the day looking around suspiciously at everyone. But once again, nothing was out of the ordinary. As the day wore on, my dread grew by the minute. There was going to be another weird thing left for me. I just knew it. Imagine my surprise when I got home and nothing had been left for me. I was relieved, thinking this weirdo had finally stopped. After putting my backpack away, I went to the bathroom to shower. I was shocked to see a box sitting in the bathtub. Shaking, I opened it. There was a bottle of shampoo with a note taped to it, reading,
"I like it when you smell like strawberries, Jesse."
Too afraid to shower, I went to my room. This time I didn't mention it to anyone. There was no sense in scaring my parents. I searched my room to make sure no one was in it. Then I didn't leave it for the rest of the night to make sure no one could sneak in. With all the weird stuff happening at home, school should have been a paradise. But it wasn't. I felt certain that my tormentor was one of my peers, acting like nothing was going on while they continued to pull this crap. I pulled my notebook out of my backpack, wanting to review notes to get it off my mind. I froze when I opened it and saw that someone had written,
"Do you want to play, Jesse?"
in tiny lettering at the top of the sheet. I frantically thumbed through the pages. Someone had written that same phrase on every single page, in increasingly bigger writing, until it completely covered the last sheet. I quickly slammed it shut and began to go to the nurse's office. Only half lying, I told her I wasn't feeling well and asked to go home. My unusually pale complexion must have convinced her, and she agreed to call my parents. I went to my locker to get my backpack. Opening it, I was startled to see
"Play, Jesse, play!"
carved into the black mirror on the inside of my locker. After the initial shock, I more or less resigned myself to the fact that this was probably going to keep going until whoever it was simply got bored. When my mom picked me up, I mumbled something about a stomach ache and told her I just wanted to lie down. Once we got home, I trudged up the stairs to my bedroom. I don't know why it surprised me. It shouldn't have. My bed was covered with what looked like 100 shampoo bottles. Hand shaking, I picked up the newest note.
"Why didn't you use my gift, Jesse? I told you I like it when you smell like strawberries."
That one scared me the most. Not only had someone yet again broken into my room, but also had been close enough to me to smell my hair, and I didn't even notice. This time, I didn't want to be alone. I took my blankets downstairs and camped out in front of the TV on the sofa. The stomachache story bought me the next day off of school as well. I was pleasantly surprised when Thursday came and went without any presents. Knowing I couldn't be under the watchful eye of my parents 24/7, I returned to school the next Friday. No notes, no random items put in my locker. After school, nothing was in my room either. Then the weekend passed, with nothing strange happening. I grew cautiously optimistic. After a full week had passed with nothing happening, I began to stop caring about it. As I thought back, I decided my fear was an overreaction. Clearly, Mrs. K had been right, and it was just a stupid prank. I laughed at myself for being such a baby. A few weeks went by, and then a month. And that leads me to today. My mom forgot to pick me up from soccer practice, so I had to walk home in the sticky heat. Less than a minute after I got back, the landline rang. I scrambled to the kitchen to get it. "Davy's residence," I said.
"Look behind you, Jesse,"
A gravelly voice sang out from the other end. Dropping the phone, I slowly turned around. Sitting on the kitchen island was a box with my name on the side. Only this time, the box was covered in blood. I slowly moved towards it to get a better look. Scrawled on the top in big block letters were the words,
"Soon, Jesse."
Screaming, I ran through the house, calling for my parents in between sobs. I stopped dead in my tracks when I reached their room. The sheets were stripped from their bed, and a huge pool of blood was soaking into the mattress. Written on the wall, in red, dripping letters, was one final message.
"Look in the closet, Jesse."
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, you know what to do. Destroy that like button down below. If you really liked it, be sure to subscribe for future videos. And damn it, if that's not enough for you, you just need more, be sure to turn on that notification bell, and you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. And guess what?
I love you the most. Don't tell anybody though. Just it'll be our little secret.
Alright everybody, I should also mention that things have been extremely busy and hectic in my personal life. And while I usually try to vary the theme of the videos between creepypastas, true scary stories, urban legends, etc., you may have noticed I've been uploading mostly creepypastas for the past month or two. It's just easier to find them and they're easy to put together, so while I will try to find something to vary it up, in the summertime, I imagine that it'll mostly be creepypastas. So if anybody has a specific creepypasta maybe that you wrote and you would like me to read, please don't hesitate to send it my way. I would love to read it. If, you know, it's scary enough and if it's well written. I might have to revise it if you don't mind. Anyway, everybody, this is the longest end slate I've had in a long time. So, as always, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.